G'day, welcome to my Fly Corp String Challenge series as we continue to connect all the cities around the world in one single line. So I think we're continuing on here in Europe. Let's see how we go connecting them all in. So there were two notes made on the previous video. The plane between Tel Aviv and Palestine is not upgraded. Double check that. So that's tiny little guy in there. Yeah, well spotted. So grab that line. So thank you to Lucas for picking that one. And then the other one, the airport of Puerto Berrino in Colombia. So let's find Colombia, which is here. This guy is only 200. So nice find to Tony, that one. So thank you for those, like managing to pull that sort of stuff out of my my videos. And then there was also I think a mention of this guy up here is small. No, all right. Double check these guys up here on these longer routes. Oh, they're looking all okay. All right. Well, let's start off by bringing in someone new. Let's make the connection. So we'll go Greece in the bottom here. Have a look at what we've got that's Atlanta. That's heading south out of that one. London, so let's give him a extra set of hands as well. These are big airports they've got here, so there's a lot of people they've got to move. Expecting that it means that this guy's going to have to take on more. We'll give him a 300 seater to sort of help just push that along, and then these two are pretty short, and then that guy there's already got two. So one thing I'm noticing in this current position that I'm up to is that there's like a pause every 10 seconds. You can see there that it just sort of runs, and then stops. Which isn't good. That means, again, there's something that... There are times where I'm like, oh, you know what I'd really like to do is just smash through this series. Like, just get it done. Create a backlog of videos. But I realize that part of the reason that this is so paced is because I am going at the pace of updates as well. That sometimes it's like, oh, maybe I'm just better off waiting for another update to see if that one gets us running a little bit smoother. Because there really isn't that much happening. I mean, there's a lot of planes in the air, but every single... what's north this way? Every single airport only has 2 connections to it. And I think in theory there's not that many, like there's fewer connections than you could potentially have. I mean, it does mean that for every single passenger, there are hundreds of steps that are added to the process of what they're doing. But I mean, if you read the comments that people make about what they're doing in their experiences in it, where they're not even doing this, it's just the amount of cities that seems to make the game buckle. So if we're here in Cyprus, we've got 2 sort of options. We could flip this around here and send from Palmyra to Homs, and then from Beirut out to Paphos, and then into Nicosia, and then come back up here to Aleppo, and then into Adana. Otherwise, we're going to have to make that jump, which seems like a longer connection. But I mean, it reckons that's more expensive. It's just, I don't think it actually is any further. So the question there as well is, what do we want to do with this section here? Like, these airports all seem like they're much easier just to create like an extended loop out here. Like what we would do is go cut this flight and cut that flight. Well, that's actually one of our super planes that we're going to lose there. Oh well, goodbye. And then we just run this guy down. I probably actually didn't even have to get rid of that that connection. Although, what's the difference here? He's 2.7, he's 2.4. And I mean, what I can do is just hop him in the middle of those two. I think I'm okay upgrading these planes to full. I mean, I realize I've got all of the European countries to the east of this that I'll still need to add in, but see how they fare. So the question then would be, what do we do with Greece? Do we just have Greece sort of, do we set this up that the connection's sort of here and then Turkey goes out and then U-turns and comes back? Potentially the Bulgaria and Romania and Moldova are all sort of just on this section as they turn around. I get all the planes? No, it's that little guy there. Have a look at some of these flights that are still... I think these are just possibly cities that have been there for a while, so they've just built up thousands of people, and now we just need to have them sort of all push off out of there. So that was a new city gain, but it looks like it must have been another Turkish city because we've still only got the 2 Greek ones. But while we are here, we'll learn about Greece. Large Greek population in Australia. I remember at one point there was a stat that Melbourne, Australia had the 2nd largest Greek population of any city in the world. Now, whether that was true or not, or I mean, to me, I always took that more to mean that there was Greek cities aren't that big standalone. So let's have a look. So the population of Greece is 10 million. Let's have a look at... let's go a bit more specific here. So what is the population of Athens? We're going to assume is the biggest city. 3.1 million. Let's go. What is the Greek population in Melbourne? A 2016 census found that 162,000 people from Greater Melbourne claimed Greek ancestry. So I think the claim would have been made earlier than 2016. But I'm curious to see what that means with the... We got this. There's a whole Wikipedia page dedicated to Greek Australians. So 424,000 Australians claim Greek ancestry, which would mean that 5% of They would make up 5% of the population of Greece if they were Greek in Greece. What is the second largest city in Greece? Well, this guy here is the second largest city. Thessaloniki. Alright, but it doesn't tell me what the population is, so let's write that as the question. What is the population of Thessaloniki? 814,000. There you go. So currently, Melbourne is not the second largest Greek city in the world. Right, well, we can see Tel Aviv's getting better off there. Again, we've gained a Turkish city over a Greek one. How are you faring? Give him some help. And I mean, you can see as long as these two down here are red, this route here could be the one that starts to suffer the brunt of that if this guy's got two major flights, and these all have major flights, so giving him a third one is probably good. This flight here is hopefully short enough that we can then just continue to shift them out. So again, this is heading north, but north out of here is actually that route there. Let's just give him a little 300-seater. But I mean, if we get them to these long routes, we could be in trouble. And annoyingly, we've currently got that issue of them stacking the flights. All these guys are currently stacked right on top of each other. I'm not sure there's any point in adjusting that at this point, because it's just going to be messed up again. It just means that Anshul is losing all its passengers are all going at the same time. You can see the Turkish flow of cities here definitely feels like flow in one way, flow back the other. Only having two cities have appeared in Greece. I don't know if there's no small little countries here to add on. Like with a lot of these where I've done like quick successions of guys, it's one where you can clearly see that there's only going to be a couple of cities. I mean, I could sort of throw Armenia or something in, but we're right here that I can also just pull the pin on Russia and see where we end up with our cities there. I will certainly leave that one running for hours between recordings, though. That does happen. Alright, so we've got a bit of build up down here too. Let's see what we've got going on. So Toronto is the order of the day. And heading out is south, is that way. So this guy's going to need help. So we'll give him a 500. And this guy will give a 300. And he's also struggling, so we'll give him a 300 too. So he's just got a third plane. I do like the idea of giving them the 3 different planes on the different levels, especially with the issue with all the planes stacking at the same point at the moment. It does mean that they'll at least be like, they'll constantly stay staggered. Alright, again, we've got a new city, but it's Turkish. I imagine the population of Turkey is pretty hefty too. I don't recall it from last time. 85 million. That's, yeah, it's a hardy amount. I don't know much about the geography of Turkey, but the fact that they've got water running so far around it, I would imagine a lot of it must be sort of on the edges. Either you could use for ports or suppose the most significant, as an Australian, the most significant edge of Turkey would be wherever Anzac Cove is, which I assume is in Turkey, since we're fighting the Turks when that happened. So that beach, the location where the Australian and New Zealand, for those that don't know what Anzac is, Army Corps landed, was up here. I certainly didn't know that. For those not Australian listening that are curious about why that's such a significant thing, it's the British told us to go fight there. They incorrectly identified the spot, so they landed in the wrong area, and it meant that the Australians, New Zealanders, were fighting at the bottom of an extremely, I think, steep embankment. But the amount of time that they held for is what is the national pride. So it is the single most, I'd say, the most significant conflict in Australian history for national pride. Is that regularly you'll see for Australia Day celebrations, or Anzac Day celebrations rather. People will go to Australians will go to Anzac Cove to for that one. I do think I'm gonna have to flip these guys around, so let's get rid of that. What I say we get rid of this one. We get rid of that one. And this one. Another city. It's Turkish again. So we won't be upgrading planes as we head into Turkey at this point, because we'll wait to get a feel of what more cities are to come, because obviously the game doesn't consider itself done with Turkey. More to go. You sure that's an actual land bridge? I don't think Turkey's separated into two separate pieces there. Istanbul on one. Yeah, that is a land bridge. I'm not sure if that's a gap shown on this. And there is a river that does pass through Istanbul that would allow you to get from this body of water to that body of water. Opening new routes is more expensive. With how long I've sat on this thing, it seems like I'm pretty better off just waiting for that to finish. So Europe has held up incredibly well through this whole thing. I don't know if it's because it's so cleanly short routes. Such a hard thing to drag anywhere. There's not too many of them where you actually will see a longer route. So Brussels is down. Oh, I've lost Brussels. I'm gonna have to click on it. Alright, I can see it. There's Brussels. It's over there. Cool. Alright, so Brussels is definitely south of this guy. So it's actually that side of this route that's struggling. He does have two jets on him now, stacked on top of each other. Let's find the one that's empty. And make him a 500 so they stagger. Houston. So that's all this side. Go 300 because quite possibly all we'll do is just shift this this large amount of people onto the next city. Which also has a whole lot of people wanting to go to Houston. Turkish again. Alright, well what's then my question is going to be to follow up my queries before. What is the third largest city in Greece? Sparty. That's by area. Alright, 5 most populated cities in Greece. So according to populations, it is Athens. I'm not sure why this is so dramatically different to the 3.1 million that I saw before. This possibly might be like... I got to imagine that 3.1 million must have been its entire, like, greater Athens. According to this, Athens is 664,000. Thessaloniki is 354,000, and then Patra is 168,000. So Melbourne's definitely in the conversation. Probably no harm in just going through and upgrading all these guys while we... Actually, the danger is that I'll get a new city, and then I'll forget to upgrade it. Still waiting for those expensive routes to go away. But once they do, I think I will connect all these guys together. I apologize to Greece that at the moment it seems like potentially the only way to get in or out of Greece is going to have to be through Turkey. The two of you don't agree on a lot of things. I realize I've just built that while that still hasn't gone, despite what I said moments ago. Alright, what do we got going on down here? Philly and Atlanta. Atlanta seems like a new one to have really picked up some travel needs. So let's give all of these long routes a bit of extra support. Because this guy, Aljuaf, looks like he's going to also start to buckle under that. It is amazing to see these places here and look at that and go like, oh, okay, these people are heading to Dallas. And they have to get through the entirety of the African continent and the entirety of the European continent. Then have to go through almost the entirety of America to then get to Dallas. Good luck to you. Oh, again, that was a Turkish city. Does continue to have me, nope, not yet. Still waiting. Does make me reluctant to open up anyone else yet. The Greece might be able to have its own. Maybe we'll bring in Armenia. Let's do it now. So I imagine that Armenia's only going to get the one city. Give us something else to look at. Count down the 30 seconds to that going. Officially the Republic of Armenia. Then the Armenian highlands of West Asia. Part of the Caucasus region. wonder who owns that little slither of land there. Oh, there you go, Azerbaijan. Population of about 3 million. Interestingly, they also have a population count here from 2011, and the population was higher than the Q1 estimate from 2021. Not really a win, that competition we just entered, where we've got more people wanting to fly with us, even though we've increased the price. Oh no, so we haven't lost the price, so we're making money. I think that one's alright, because we're not increasing the amount of people on the flights. Alright, so we bounce into Athens. This is where I was hoping for probably a few more Greek cities, because I will connect the two Greek cities together and then bounce back out to Istanbul, even though it means that these routes are all quite long. It's just because I could connect Thessaloniki to North Macedonia and Albania, but otherwise I'd have to connect Athens back into that same route, or Athens would have to stay as the lone Greek city connected to Turkey, and that is, like I said before, a lot of several continents that they would have to then pass through in order to get from one edge to the other. So what do we do here? I think we jump up. I think we get rid of that. And that. We just run straight across those two. Upgrade him again. Get rid of that. And then we bounce up that way. Grab those lower Turkish cities. I'm not even sure if that's the better connection, or if I run Adana between these two and then just have that cut straight across. For the sake of keeping Turkey together, let's keep them like that. Alright, so I assume these two are the two that I'm still going to have as 200s, so let's get them up to speed, and then we'll just get rid of the shortest route we have for this one. There's no benefit to a shorter route if there's longer routes around it. Actually, the chain is as strong as its weakest link. I do feel like both Greece and Turkey have a lot more cities to give me. I mean, even potentially Bulgaria can shorten this gap here as well. How are we looking? You're looking not too well either. That is a very specific place people to be traveling to. All of that again is north of this guy, so let's give him that. Let's give this guy 300, and we'll give him 500. This guy is still pretty stacked as well. Let's give him a 300. I mean, this guy's also getting a lot of attention. You can see these guys are green heading back at the moment, so it means that all of this traffic is one way. Oh, we've got a new city down here too. those really right on top of each other, and feels very insulting to Tanzania, saying like, oh, we can't even have these circles like separate. Like we've got to cram them in there. But Tanzania just need a capital city. Okay, can we actually make this connection? Yes. Shortest route on the map, I would say. I think I'm going to have to click on routes here to highlight that thing. Alright, and then let's get rid of that one. Yep, it's definitely the right one of those two. Which one of those two cities is it? It's this one? No, it's the other one. I can't even read its name. That's how little they want to give cities to Greece here, that we're getting nice and squashed down this way. Alright, Toronto is his complaint, so let's give him a 500-seater heading down. That guy heading north will also give him a 300-seater, because he is also a long route. That guy can have one as well. This guy is packed heading south. Give him... I mean, I don't know why this guy's fine. That looks almost broken. Small. Why he's looking bad. Alright, we'll bounce those two like that. Do you want to reduce ticket prices? I'm going to say no, because what we want to do is we want to reduce people taking our airline. There's that exact thing I said, that we've just shifted the problem of tours onto the next city. So we'll give them 300-seater, and I'll give this guy a 300-seater as well. And you can see beyond him, this guy already has 2 planes, and that bigger one was traveling that time without anything in it, so so we don't need to give them an extra one. And that's quite a short route there, and then there's multiple planes on the one after that, so hopefully that's going to clear that guy a little bit. This guy's struggling a bit too. Oh no, sorry, he's only going to struggle again because he's got no staggering on the line. So let's buy another guy and we'll make him sell him. I only want him a 500-seater. I don't want him to sit on top of those guys as well. It's definitely eaten a lot into our profits in this one, so we dropped down to 1 million. I think what I'd like to do is, it's probably going to have to be that I can make one more and then I have to sit on it again and let just cities unlock. So I'd say at the point that I do let cities unlock, I want to have Iran available too, because I think that Turkey, Greece, Iran are all going to offer up a fair few more cities before they're done. And we're getting very close to the ones that are going to need, like, I'd almost say I've got to finish an episode with unlocking India, China, or Russia, and then once the and then just let them go for a few hours to see how many cities they want to open up. All right, let's go down here is our last one to look at today. He is struggling. This side will be the one that needs the... Did just get a new city somewhere. There he is. Do we flip that around? Seems like we might. Alright, let's take that to there. We'll get rid of that. And we also, I guess, want to change all of these routes. So we get rid of that one and that one. We zoom in to allow them to do it. And one more. Thank you. All right, there we go. I guess next time we'll probably try and bring in Bulgaria. And I realize I've just pulled the flight route away from Bulgaria, so we'll see how that looks. And then sort of sweep possibly Romania, Moldova, but then sort of heading down this way. I think Ukraine and Moldova might end up getting attached to the north here. And I still am standing on the logic that I think I want everything here before we get Russia, because Russia is going to have to attach to so much of the crazy connections that we'll see how that pans out. Anyway, as usual, any questions or comments, feel free to chuck them below. Get a nice framing in here to say Greece and Armenia have come in. And until next time, catch you later. See ya.